files because when I hit stream, it auto records. But I'm rambling. I'm also going to say I really like the Go live notification for FFD20 because I get to just shout Kupo at the top of my voice. Kupo! Like, I got to play old Grimo games. Why you got to go doing that, Lizard Wizard Kupo? I thought about having the last guy, our PI, I thought about having him be a Moogle and just like, yeah, she ain't Kupo for the whole time. But we didn't.
Definitely my second choice for a race if I wasn't doing this.
Fair enough. And we are joined today by Nick, I should have said, was one of the giveaway winners for FFD20. He is one of our mid-tier patrons and as such had a billion extra entries. And so, you know, helping out Black Dragon Gaming gets you not only sweet rewards, but sweet other rewards as well. We are now also joined by the other giveaway winner who I've had one burning question for kind of forever. So before I like talk about him and his stuff, I'm gonna ask: Does it literally say Idaho on your birth certificate?
Idaho is my professional name.
As
an artist.
Okay, that makes sense because I know that's like your Facebook name too, and I know Boros is a Magic guild, so I'm like, okay.
Boros is my family's name. It's Hungarian.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I found it hilarious. The artist who does the art for, I think it's starts with a Z. He's an artist for
Zendikar.
Thank you. He's an artist for Magic cards. Zendikar, Boris?
No. Zendikar is a plane. I know who you're talking about though. It's been I haven't played Magic in so long. But I will say War for the Spark kind of makes me want to start back in. But we're not here to talk about Magic. We're here to talk about Mr. Idaho Boros, or you might know him as Wifflepossum Productions. Like all of the art you've seen so far for FFD20 has been courtesy of this man's and also frankly Tiki's generosity for sure, I'll pay for everybody's plus Tommy's art for this thing. And that's sweet because we all look differently, or we all look the same rather in terms of artist on the thumbnails, and it's really nice to just have a PNG with no background when you're making thumbnails. I don't have to cut anything out, but do check out. I'll put a link in the description for Wifflepossum Productions if you need some sweet character art. Idaho, how you doing? Idaho is actually also very important for the channel, as a lot of you know if you've watched our live plays or have been involved in them. I always ask at the beginning, like, hey, where are you streaming from? So I can mark it off on a map as I stream with folk across the world at this point. Got Indiana. We did it. It's not as exciting as the last guy who got a state I didn't think I'd ever get in my whole life. Nevertheless, Idaho, how you doing? What are you playing? We see this cute little... It kind of looks like Gone from Tekken, is what I've thought this whole time, this little dragon boy.
Yeah. Well, Paralix, as he is called, is an Al-Ra, or at least that's what he was raised as. Truthfully, he was born of a clutch of dragon eggs that were left on the stoop of an Al-Ra, and they raised him with the consideration that he was, because he hatched, and it was a bouncing baby boy. Whether or not Al-Ra actually hatched from eggs, I am not sure. But for the sake of this, they found it interesting, to say the least. But what was more interesting is that when the second egg hatched, it was a hatchling full black dragon. So that kind of caused a little bit of an upstir in the Al-Ra community. By the way, this is the Zayla Al-Ra. For anyone who's unfamiliar, they're new race, Final Fantasy XIV, and they have somewhat dragon-like features. They're different in abilities from clan to clan, and the males and females are vastly like 2 feet difference in height and mass. The males tend to be a lot taller, though their stats aren't. It doesn't affect their abilities at all. They're quite evenly matched. It's just size. But there was always a long-standing belief in the Al-Ra that the Al-Ra came from the Dawn Father and the Dust Mother, who were kind of this was the creation myth. And They one was more for the light side, and the father was very calm and nurturing. The mother was very strong and powerful, and the two clans are always very separate from each other. And even though that they have similarities to dragons, there was it was just always, well, the myth was more in other cultures that, oh, these are descended from dragons. It's like, no, we weren't descended from dragons. It's just a coincidence. However, this sudden adoption of two young dragons was caused a bit of an upstir in. I'm a little long-winded. Sorry, I had this story brewing in my head for a while. Caused a bit of an upstir in the tribe, and they there was question whether what happened with this, but how this Aura could be born from a dragon egg. And the elders assured them that it was truthfully just a coincidence, and this black dragon is in fact a black dragon in the form of an Aura. And it took them a while. He grew up as an Aura with his little brother, who was a dragon, a hatchling, and learned that he was a talent in blue magic. Now I'll explain the details of blue magic later, but if you're not familiar, they copy the abilities of monsters. Aura specifically copy this Aura specifically copy Paralix. Also copies the form of other monsters that they copy the abilities from, so he can actually shapeshift. So for the better part of his childhood, he was in a form that was not his own. And that's, as they say, how Equestria was made.
To bring it full circle with the content of my channel. Fair enough. So
he's a black dragon. That's the kicker there.
It's the best choice. It's the best color. Best of all colors. And it's not just 19-year-old goth kid Tommy who's like, oh, I can be the black dragon. It's the best color. I literally just in the trip pants and the band shirt. No, that's me. That's what I'm doing. And now it's come all the way through. So I guess I will also say we're on Hangouts right now. You don't necessarily see it in the chat or on stream. But it's really nice to see Baba Yaga's Dancing Hut have made its way from someone who comments on my videos, requests. You actually have a request for Kostita Guy, and you're a patron now. So that's coming up around the corner. The man who wants me to build a dragon. And on that note, also, much like Nick, one of the people who would like see a video, watch it, not agree with it, comment about it, but not like troll me or be a horrible human being, but like constructive criticism and how things could also be done. And since I'm basically a one-man army, it's real nice to get those back from folks, because like I'm just talking into the wind here and people have ended up liking it, and it gets real. It's fun when it's just you, but when there's like people, when I get feedback, that helps. We grow.
It was kind of cool because I joined. I started watching you last year when second edition started, and I was like, I just made a comment and expected to be ignored, like always. It's like, oh yeah, maybe somebody will respond in line, but then like the creator respond, I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's cool. I'll keep coming back here.
I do always. Sometimes these days it takes me a couple days. Sometimes because then it was 4 videos in one game. Now it's more. It's third-party content. It's like 6 games in a week now. I think now it's all the videos we kept moving forward. So I always like. I don't want to do this to be bigger than anybody. I'm trying to like talk to people and make friends in the community. I've never made it a secret that I'm trying to like survive on this, but like I don't want to just be some faceless dude, which is why you can see my camera, not everybody else's, because some people don't like to use their camera, and that's cool, but you will see me. Anywho, I feel like there was something else I was going to say about your... Oh, yes, now that I look back at OBS and I see the art, I will say that... Actually, I will not say, I will ask. I see an individual wearing like no like formal like modern clothing in a setting that's like fantasy World War II and carrying a spear, which I think has to be probably one of the bravest choices in the meta, given that a lot of things will be firing at you. But it's a fair thought that, like, to say that Paralix comes from a lower tech setting. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes. He, tribal world, there is technology in this world, and he is aware of it, but his tribe has really been more interested in how things are done traditionally, and they've shied away from any kind of technology. So, and himself, he doesn't even really care to be in with the regular community. He usually spends his time out in the wilderness, hunting and looking at other monsters and trying to copy their abilities. He's really I'm a monster, I should hang out with other monsters kind of guy.
And then one day you come back home and you realize that home is gone, and have been traveling throughout the wilderness trying to find a new place.
That was a big part of the tragedy of his backstory. Is he did return one day to find utter devastation of his tribe with like no hint as to what is. It was either it could have been roving monsters, but it was a large amount of destruction.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So then I suppose final question before we kick off. I didn't ask you this before, but Nick and I had talked about it, but it's relevant here too. Am I role-playing Paralix, or are you?
I will role-play Paralix if you don't mind. They kind of have a back and forth, and
got you. Okay, that makes sense.
I kind of got voices in my head. I'll try to work it out. Yeah.
Great. I've got somebody on my channel with voices in their head. That's fun fact, actually, and Josh will remember this maybe. We used to play Pathfinder IRL in Sedalia, Missouri, in the house where I learned to play Pathfinder. I don't talk to that guy anymore, but across the street where we had to park, there was a multiple personalities disorder clinic. I'm not making that up. And I think that's hilarious, considering I'm going across the road to have multiple personalities. In any case, the pair of you, have been traveling for a while. The region in which you are in is, think like, we talk a lot of magic, so I guess I'll just out with it, like a wooded foothills, kind of. There's mountains behind you where bigger and scarier things live. It's probably like 3-ish months out of the year. It's warm enough that you don't want to walk out with a coat on, and the winters are pretty rough. You guys are pretty far, like, north. Finding a new community to live in, a new tribe, has been pretty difficult around here because not a lot of them exist. The Aura that you used to live with are now, of course, very gone, and there haven't been really, short of like maybe like the semi-intelligent, monstrous, magical beast kind of things that you might be able to like stay in with for a little while, but it lacks that sense of family, that sense of being the community, as it were. So I'll ask you like I've asked everybody else, a typical like early morning day for Paralix and Teralix. What's that look like?
Generally, we'll try to keep to minimal daylight hours. It's not necessary that we want to keep out of sight, but it's just more comfortable in the dark for a black dragon to move. We are a prime elemental of darkness, so moving through the night feels more natural. However, we can go out in the day and we feel just as comfortable. Just we don't feel like there is an apex predator higher than us, and we've had minimal contact with the Humes and other technologically advanced races. So in a way, we're kind of naive, just because we've been so far removed from civilized society, so to speak, if you can call it that.
Yep, sure.
Just an opinion.
That makes sense.
I guess civilized is an opinionated term.
Yeah, that it is. Also, I guess it's worth mentioning, we should have said it a second ago, but like the black dragon that you are does not breathe acid. The black dragon that you are breathes shadow, because all of the monsters are different here.
That is correct, but
a yellow dragon too.
Yeah. So typically, a black dragon will breathe shadow, which is an element of magic in Final Fantasy setting.
Nah, just breathe strength damage. God, can you imagine?
Yeah.
No, you can't play that. Go away.
Yeah.
Gross.
Fun times. Negative levels all day.
Whee! They're all dead. Okay, so
15d4 negative levels.
I quit. I'm playing 5e. That's it. I'm done. Okay, so making your way through the forest at night, you come upon you probably hear it before you see it, the sounds of a fire going. Not like raging wilderness bad kind of fire, more so like just like a little campfire. Eventually the light comes into focus, appearing as if like a couple of individuals who have their back to you are making camp.
I quietly scan them.
Okay. They appear to be... It's hard to say because like from like seeing their back, it's kind of hard to tell. They're probably about as big as you in terms of like height and width, maybe a little. They're sitting, so hard to tell. They have, as you get a little closer, you can smell the smell of some kind of meat cooking over the fire. It appears they've got like a stew pot is holding over it, and you can smell like basically like meat and potatoes and onions. There's a tent on the other side, like them fire tent, basically.
Okay.
They seem to be like on their the what you would interpret as probably like just a couple of people out camping.
Okay. See, am I within 60 feet?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Well, the Blue Mage has the ability to scan creatures within 60 feet in order to find out their supernatural ability that I can learn. They can make a will save to resist this. It is, I believe, 16 or something.
Okay. Well, let me see if these guys have... Let me see if I'm just suddenly handing you out a bunch of fun things.
Yeah.
Do you get anything other than like the abilities when you scan them?
Well, basically, it just tells me whether or not they have something I can learn. That's like, and it's I have to engage them to use my creature magic ability.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so God, that's become very, very magically very like meta relevant what we've done here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to just kind of I'm not looking. I don't know who has an ability. I'm gonna click on this one. Yeah, sure, why not? That makes sense to live in cold places. They do not. That seems like they should. It's just supernatural abilities, right?
It's just a supernatural ability that I can learn as a Blue Mage spell.
Oh, okay.
And it would say on a supernatural ability, a Blue Mage can learn this spell with a DC knowledge check.
Sure.
It took me a while to figure this all out because it's
it is a bear. Yeah.
Wording is difficult to learn.
Yeah, we definitely had to ping Vil. They have nothing, but they like one of them feels it and stands up. As it does so, you see its arms kind of like they are much more lanky than you might have thought as they go down like past its knees, and a couple of really bulbous something or others on the side of its head go out. And just, someone out there? Yes. I feel magic. Looks around, and the other one next to it just, what are you talking about? I feel no magic. What do you mean, brother? There's magic out there, yes. Keeps turning, like trying to find you. There's enough like darkness and cover to where they don't see you.
Paralix is going to hush up with what he's saying as he's hiding, but he's going to, because he's not really sure about these creatures. However, Paralix, his little brother, is a little bit more outspoken and yells, "Ah!" makes a hissing noise.
Okay.
Insignificant fools! You will bow before your betters. Shh, quiet, quiet. No, they have food. No, I'll get you food later. And he slinks out from the shadows. Well, still staying in the shadows, but trying to act big. Present me any treasure, and I will let you leave with your lives.
Okay. So Terralix, as Terralix gets a little closer, sees these guys have what skin of theirs is appearing is like a very bluish. Their hands are almost just flippers that Nanu off into like two, well, not more like live long and prosper, I suppose, off into two different like graspy things and a graspy thumb with feet that look to be like like something a diver would wear. They see you and they both are the sacks on the side of their head. Oh no! It's a dragon! The dragon has come to investigating us! And they both kind of like lean down in and start poking once they realize at first it's like, oh no, we're in trouble. And then here comes this little tiny thing. Just,
He's not great at hiding, but he's like shaking the tree like, I am a huge dragon. My teeth are daggers. My wings are a hurricane.
Well, brother, perhaps we could take him back to the town. Maybe he would sell for a high price. What do you think? Yes, what do you say? And the other one begins, like, fumbling through its pack to eventually pull out a pretty sizable net.
At this point, Paralix says, I don't think so.
Oh, I see. Was that your pet here, yes? Able Bobby has come in and bring the pets. You're oh, we have heard of the auras. They look and like kind of in. It sounds like they're trying to do hushed whispers, but now I'm speaking in their language. Gosh, they like try to confer with each other. Oh, I don't know, but oh, maybe he's come to rob us. The one who clearly is in charge just, well, I think they're just investigating us. Yes. He leans forward and his eyes, which are basically just giant yellow orbs that like out off his face with a little brown weep across the side, which seems to be what he sees. So just, what are you doing out in this part of the world all by yourself?
I would ask you the same question. I am wondering why a group of, well, I'm not sure what you are, would humanoids be so far in the realm of the monsters?
Well, you see, we Hypello are, and they both like they puff out both their chests, and their frames are very, very, very not. Their arms are almost bigger than their chests. As they try to puff them out, but mostly it's just like to lean back, and then the cheek sacks come out. We are brave hunters, and we are on vacation. They look at each other, nod.
Hunters. I can respect that. Do be careful. There are monsters about.
I see. There's a big scary dragon up in the trees there. Yes, big scary. And he tries to like raise it, like almost to go into a jumping jack. To like, big. Not as big as Shoe Puff.
My brother talks big, but he's not all that bright. Come down here, Paralix. And Paralix kind of mumbles, fine. Scurries down the tree, runs onto the back of his brother and climbs up. So we eat them now? We eat them later? No, we don't eat them.
No, you do not eat us, but if you would like some stew... And the lead one goes and picks up, and by picks up, it's more like just put the flipper hands down and boop, boop, up to lift the pot up, and the smell of... You're not sure what small animal they've caught. Perhaps like some kind of like rabbit or squirrel has been simmering in a pot with a bunch of taters and veggies, basically. You can have some stew if you would like, big scary overlord.
I walk closer. Huh. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Paralix, would you like some stew? Well, it's meat, right? Yes? It's meat?
Mostly.
He goes over and takes a sniff of it. Takes the bowl in his little claws.
They see this happen, the two creatures do, and they kind of like exchanged worried glances as Paralix begins tearing through their food. Well, I'm sorry, I don't think I introduced myself. The thing stands up and he moves in your direction, extending a hand flipper. My name is... Well, they named me after the monsters from where we come from, the Shoepuff. My name is Shoepuff. And he reaches his hand thing out, and the brother, who's still sitting, just nods, full of soup, full of like bits of like meat and veggie hang from his awkward mouth sack thing as he continues just up forward.
Shupa. I look at his hand and I'm kind of hesitant to like. I know that this is his flipper rather. I know this is kind of a gesture that some cultures use, so I take it carefully. Is that right? Mm-hmm.
He like very happily shakes it. Oh yes, yes, very good. Yes, sits down and gets a bowl for himself. Why, you are monsters. We have not seen monsters in these parts. Why is you out here all by yourself with dragons? Yes.
My brother and I traveled together. Sorry, you introduced yourself, and I didn't introduce myself. I am Paralix. We are both dragons, and we travel these lands in search of, well, I don't know what now. We're searching for some place to go home, I suppose.
You are dragons? You are auras, yes? I see not to have... Where is wings? Where is... Well, you kind of has tail. Do you have tail? He, like, begins leaning to, like, look around you.
I show him my tail. There, it's there.
Has tail. Has no wings. Has no... Kind of has scales. Kind of. Has... Oh, has hands. You are a strange dragon.
Well, you are a strange Shupa.
We are called Chipelos.
Oh. I doubt. I think I know what Shupa are.
Yeah, you might have seen them. I don't think they exist in Bestiary. So it's awkward, but they are... you ride them in Final Fantasy X at one point.
Chipelo.
Yes, they do not live out here. Sometimes you have the Shoepuff, we ride the Shoepuff. We've come out here to find new life. You see, there's a town not far from here. Should we move out here? Yes, we move out here, brother. Yes, why are you telling us? Because the stranger is all by himself looking for homes. Yes. Maybe you should come back to the village with us. Yes.
Well, it's very kind of you. I don't know how well I'd fit in, though, as a monster among humanoid races. I'm well enough. I adapt well enough. I don't know. I have very little experience with such creatures.
Oh, it'd be easy. We do it. Sometimes look at us funny, sometimes makes funny face, but we find a job. We work as a job. We go on vacation, we go home, we go back to jobs, you see. Better than being all alone out here.
Jobs. Any positions available for a dragon?
Well, you could probably become overlords, I think, perhaps. Looking at Paralix. We are fishermen.
Huh.
Maybe perhaps you work in one of the mills. Maybe perhaps, oh, you're pretty strong. Perhaps maybe you work constructions. They find something for you, I am sure.
And this all helps out the community in some way.
Yes, they pay you. And then you use this money to buy what you want. Or maybe you want a house, a food, a tent, a cars, and he kind of like though you probably don't understand what like the spinning of a wheel is, he does that with his hands. Then you go to work, you do it again.
Oh, that's interesting way of doing it. With my people, as always, we have a role to play, and we perform that role, and our reward is the strengthening of our tribe. If we need food, we hunt for food. If we need a house, we build a house. It's probably a learning curve for me. I have to say that I feel most comfortable out in the wild. So
yes, we are more comfortable where it is warmer and there's more water for swimming. We are amphibious, you see. We breathe waters. But even us can go to store. Even us don't have to swim in water. Sometimes we go to talks to get apartments. Sometimes, we exist. We help communities. Yes. Yes.
Yes, I suppose so. It's an interesting system. And I'm sure it works just fine for you.
As long as you're willing to work, you're willing to get. And he withdraws you probably have never seen Gil before, but like a couple of like golden circular objects, as far as Paralix is like his perception would be. You get Gil's is good. So will you come back with us?
Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to give it to just try it out. If I find it's not suitable, I'll continue on.
Sounds good to me. What do you think, brother? Should he come with us? Yes. Oh, yes, fine, if it will make you be silent, that such enjoys the meals. Well, we only has one tent. I'm sorry. I suppose you'd have to sleep outside. We leave in the morning.
Oh, I do not require protection from the elements.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm quite used to. If the weather conditions become hazardous, I can always find underground shelter.
Seems good enough for me. Yes, indeed. And at this point, like, the meal has concluded, and well,
you'll notice that I do not partake in the meal myself, but I spent a lot of time sniffing in the fumes of the soup.
Okay. They seem to be more caught up in the conversation to notice it. Well, brothers, goes now. We have to rest. Yes, yes. And they both kind of you can, now that you get a better look at him, you can, amphibious, you think is what he said, is definitely like the term here. They almost slap on the ground as their flipper-esque feet hit the ground. Their hands are a little too big, and they're like, whoop, 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 back to the tent. We'll come out in the mornings, and we'll take you to the town. Yes, yes, indeed. Good night. Leaving Paralix and Teralix alone by the fire.
Heralds is gonna sit and think for a while, and he's going to walk some distance from the campsite and just watch over them until morning. What do you think, buddy? They seem nice enough. I don't know. Maybe. If they give me more meat like that, sure. But when they run out of eat them, maybe we eat them. Brother, what is your obsession with meat? You don't even need to eat it. It's tasty. Feels good going down. Well, fair enough. Anyway, I don't think they'd be worth eating. Maybe this will work out. We'll see. And they talk into the night, just exchanging and looking over the nice people that gave them a meal and a story, and maybe hope for a new home.
Okay. The night passes. It's pretty quiet, pretty uneventful. Maybe like occasionally like something along the lines of a particularly large wolf might come and like sniff out the camp, realize its odds are like not in its favor, and slink off. But nothing jumps out at you in the night. The morning comes, and out come the two Hypello, stretching their gigantic arms. Man, I'm going to talk like that this whole campaign now. I'm not going to need their arms like up, back, and yes, good morning to you all. Now we go to town. Is ready to go? Yes.
Yes. Sounds good. Which way is town?
They both turn and begin walking like down the foothills, basically. Just come follow us. It's not far to our cars.
Okay.
And all told, it's probably like an hour making your way through the forest, them just back and forth about things that like seem to make sense for their culture, like work and raises and the price of gas materia, for lack of a better way to call it, I suppose, et cetera, until eventually you come upon the forest gives way to a paved road, which is like, it has basically cut the forest in half. On the other side, there is more forest, but up to like 20 feet out past the edges of the road, the forest has been clear cut. There's a, like, parked kind of off the side, there's a particularly large, for them, vehicle which seems to seat the pair of them and then have an open bed in the back, and they move over. Well, we don't have rooms up here, but in the direction of the back, he waves his hand. All aboard! Take you down.
Paralix, you see that he's like stopped when he gets to the edge of the forest and kind of looks at all the trees, and he's kind of taken aback at this level of what he sees destruction. of the forest. He thinks something horrible has happened here for a moment. What could possibly have just cut the trees off like right at the base? It's almost too perfect of a crime or something like that. But he sees that they're not reacting and is wondering what's going on. What is that?
This is our truck. This is road. This is tree.
Well, I know what a road is and what a tree is. This is what does this do?
Well, it takes us places. It goes faster than feet.
Faster than feet?
Yes, faster than feet, faster than shoe puff. Drives, it takes us back to home and takes to work and everywhere in between. Yes.
Paralix is going to walk around the truck and poke it with his spear, not to poke the tires or anything, because he can see that they might puncture. Just, can it fly?
No, it's not in airships. It's just the trucks, you see. It drives. We get here, we push, and he like is half in the vehicle as he says this, and then he gets out and pantomimes like what probably appears as like stomping on the ground. And it goes, you see. Does not fly, does not go in water, snow, would be very bad. Very, very bad. Very bad indeed. Why is we waiting, yes? He goes back to town.
Sorry, I'm very up. I'm like he's clearly scanning it with his blue mage abilities, and right. He's
does
smelling.
Truck have a supernatural ability? Probably not.
But he finds he like is dwelling on the darker side, on the opposite side of where the sun is, and he's like just looking at the shadow that it's casting. And it's like I don't feel anything there. What is this? Brother, are you getting anything? It's like, nope, don't know what this is. Okay. I think that maybe I would like to walk alongside you, if that's okay.
Are you very fast, dragons?
I can fly fast enough.
Okay, if you can, okay, it's good, very good. And they climb into the vehicle, and the vehicle takes off, going probably about like 45 miles an hour.
45. Okay, I know what era we're in here, but
indeed.
Paralix is kind of taken aback, but he starts getting a running start, and his brother jumps on his back, and as he's moving, his feet start growing, and his wings start sprouting from his back, and his neck elongates, and he turns into a full-size large dragon and takes off after the truck.
Okay. The car, or excuse me, I did it too. The truck, as this happens, as you polymorph and take off, the vehicle begins speeding up. You can almost hear oh no, this actually is dragons! Oh, bad! As they kind of like, the corners are taken, like the back end of the thing almost goes sideways as they take the corner a little too fast, making the way, basically in general, like down the hills.
Crap. And I imagine they are going to be a little faster than I am.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be too terribly long before like they really outpace you.
Yeah. And so I'm flying, and I kind of get a sense of what direction they're going, so I'm just going to fly in that direction. See, I have a fly speed of 40.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Indeed. Okay, so you get a sense of the general direction, and you head that direction. It takes you, probably takes you about most of the day. It's not long before that vehicle is out of sight. Eventually, the foothills give way to a flat land devoid of trees, and several buildings have been basically like right up to the forest been built. They appear to be made of, from your eyes, some kind of like stone, or perhaps some kind of like maybe a brick and mud kind of thing. But they're really, really nice. That sounds not unlike the sound that the Hypella's vehicle made all over the place. Lights all over the place.
Well, I told them I was a dragon. I don't know why they just flew off like that. That was rather rude. I guess lesson learned. I'm not going to make the mistake, because I could hear them screaming as they were leaving. My senses are quite acute. But I'm going to morph back into an aura at some point away from the city before I begin to enter it.
Okay. You do so. There's no real, there's nothing to stop you from entering the city. It's not like super late, but it's probably like 9:30 or so as you make your way into this place. It's people give you. Where's Paralix? Is I guess the question.
He's on my back.
So as you enter, there are some people that are like out and about doing things, and they see you, and there's like they see the spear, and everyone kind of like gets real quiet, and then they see the little tiny dragon thing, and you get approached by a pretty sizable male. Oh, what could it be? Who could it be? Now, what is this? I don't know what that one is. Yeah, that makes sense. A pretty big green-skinned individual with arms bigger than most people's legs. His hair is stark white. Well, I didn't think the Hypella were telling the truth. I guess there are dragons out in the forest, huh? And like people have started to like come around you guys and like try to figure out what you are, and this big guy laughs, and they kind of like awkwardly chuckle. Well, hello, my friend. Welcome to paradise.
Paradise. I know this word. This is the name of the town?
He nods.
That's a very colorful name for such an interesting place. And I thank you for the welcome. I am Paralix, and this is my dragon companion, Terralix. He says something in Draconic to his brother. How about we play this a little low key on the two dragon brothers? And Terralix, yeah, brother, I'll get it. Just speak in grunts and whistles. Okay. Yes, this is Terralix, my dragon cohort that I have trained in the wild.
I see. Is it? He leans forward. If I try to pet it, will it bite me?
It's not so used to others. It is probably best that you. It will keep a safe distance from, but I wouldn't recommend it.
That is unfortunate. Fair enough. And at this point, like there are several other humanoids around, and some of them are looking awkwardly at what appears to be like just a cute little pet, as far as they are concerned. Well, what brings you here? What brings you to paradise?
Well, I learned about your town, and it seemed like a place that I could settle down in, possibly, just to see what civilization is about. I'm not from what you would call civilized parts, but I'm searching for a home.
Ah, I see. Well, if you're willing to work, I'm sure we can find a place for you here in Paradise. We'd have to go talk to the mayor, of course, but I'm sure a couple of dragons come out from the wilderness. Well, you'd make us stand out, put us on the map. You understand, right? What do you think, fellas? And he turns around to all these other humanoids who nod in agreement.
I'm always willing to work. If that's what you... Whatever role I could fill in your society would be acceptable compensation for a home.
Yeah, I'm sure something as big as you, we could figure something out. And as he says that, he kind of, like, he flexes, and his arms are truly, like, bigger than your legs. He kind of looks as if he hasn't been to leg day ever, because he just does push-ups for everything ever, forever. Well, suppose we can put you up somewhere for the night. Maybe the mayor will, and around this time, that a slight in build, dark-haired, about closer to like the size of the general people in the crowd comes for, and just now, I'm right here, and here they are.
You are the chief of this town.
The mayor, son.
Mayor, yes.
My name, and he extends a hand, is Mayor Francis Lewis. Welcome to Paradise.
I take it more confidently this time. Second time, it's a little bit easier.
Okay.
Shake his hand.
Makes sense. So, he takes it and seems to, like, there's a bit of a stutter, like a skip in his step as he sees Paralix, and, well, is that you've brought a dragon into our fair town?
I hope that's all right. He is not used to other creatures, other humans, and should I use the term humanoid races?
You know,
would that be? Yeah, okay. I'm asking Tommy. That's
fair. Yeah, humanoid races is fine.
Other humanoid races. However, give him some time to adapt, and he might be more responsive to pets. He's tamed, but he's not. What's the word? Institutionalized. That's probably the wrong word. I apologize.
Is he housebroken?
Yes. Considering that we completely process everything we consume, we don't really leave waste.
Well, all right. He's fine with me. We'll come with me. We'll take you to where we can put you up and come find you in the morning. We'll get you started at your new job. You look... Looks you up and down. You look like you could carry a lot.
I do my fair share of manual labor.
Great. That's what I love to hear. We'll take... Now I feel like I have to end the session because I clapped. I shouldn't have done that. Oh. I have been trained so well by me. We'll start you at the mill in the morning. For now, come with me. And the crowd disperses as he turns without waiting for you down the street.
The mill, huh?
A mill, indeed. Yes, we take the wood from the trees and we turn it into timber that we can build things with.
So you use the trees to build this town. That makes sense. I did see a lot of trees that were taken down. I was very surprised by that, but that makes sense. We use trees all the time, just not in this big a scale. But your city is very big, so it makes sense that you would need a lot of wood to build all of this.
That's one way to put it, son. Wood, concrete, steel. Sometimes we just sell the wood off to people who make little tiny trinkets and things. It's been a very lucrative business. What could I say? And as he turns the corner, you turn the corner with him, you see it is the most, I'll say perfect, but that's not necessarily the most accurate term maybe for Paralix. The houses are perfectly aligned and all look exactly the same. There's a fence out in front of all of them. It's dark, so out past a little bit you only get like a grayscale, but somehow they have captured light in a probably about the size of like 2 or 3 of you that shines down on the street. The white fence basically lines the whole street. You make another couple of steps before the 2 Hypello come out from one of these houses and just, oh, Mayor's Lewis, that's your dragons, yes. Now, you two. I think I would know a dragon when I'd see one, and there's a little one there. This is our new friend. This is Paralix. That is what you called yourself, yes, Paralix? Yes, dragons, dragons! And they just kind of faff about until you're taken to a house that there are no lights in it. The door sits just kind of like closed, and a sign with, oh, yeah, we're going to do it. Here we go. I got to break out 3d6. Boom! 1, 2, 5 across the front of the door. Well, there you are, son. 1, 2, 5 Pine Tree Lane. We'll come get you in the morning.
Well, sounds good to me. I appreciate the assistance in the assimilation.
He nods.
I open the door and walk in.
The house is pretty... everything you would need to function basically is perfectly lined up and pristine and beautiful and clean, as if no one had ever stepped in here forever and ever and ever. There's a bed in one of the rooms in the back. There's what you imagine they do their cooking on. Some kind of like a box that is cold and has ice in it.
Huh. Nothing in it. It's pretty sparse. So is this furnished?
Yeah.
Okay. Pre-furnished, and I take a look around. I'm looking for like secure area for nesting and roosting.
Okay, fair enough. In the back there's a much nicer, well, maybe not much nicer. The skins that you might expect to see as like the bedroll have been replaced with some kind of soft material, but a bed it truly seems to be. It's in the back part of the house and has basically clear line of sight to the front door if you're to leave the bedroom door open.
Okay. And I have left like the front door open as I enter.
Okay.
Not really caring about things coming in and out, and used to caves. I'm just going to search around. Well, Paralix is definitely different from the hut. But it could work. Paralix is, but where do we put the horde? Can't put it somewhere. We gotta put somewhere secure. There's too many windows in here. Yeah. Yes. We need to protect the horde. Can't be too careful. We know these humanoids hunt us down for our hordes. Yes, that's what they told us. Need to protect the horde. Paralix smiles and says, well, we'll keep it close. Whenever it's time, we'll go retrieve it. Maybe this will work out. But we've traveled pretty far. I think we should get some rest. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do that. Terralix, in true cat fashion, completely scoffs at the bed, goes to the corner of the room, finds a box, and climbs in it.
Fair enough. Okay. So the bed is incredibly comfortable, and the night passes pretty uneventfully. You wake up in the morning to the sounds of a commotion out, like basically right outside the front door, which someone has shut. Lots of raised voices in foreign languages.
I look outside one of the windows.
Okay. There are 5 humanoids of various shapes and sizes, ranging from like knee-high to you to head and shoulders above, all carrying weapons, in some cases not unlike your own, in some cases a lot more advanced, have formed a semicircle around Mayor Lewis, and like the whole population of the town has made that proverbial like fight high school circle kind of thing. You can see basically by looking between shoulders, you can see like kind of the gist of what's going on. As far as here, it's kind of a mess. A lot of noise on top of noise on top of noise. It's really hard to discern anything.
Well, okay. Curiosity abates, so I will step outside. Tell my brother to hold back a second because he goes to run to my side. But I'm like, hold back a second. Takes a step out. Mayor. Forget your name. What's his name again?
Francis Lewis.
Mayor Lewis. What seems to be the trouble?
No, nothing, son. These people are delusional at best. Isn't that right, everyone? And he kind of like waves like a general, like, right? Isn't that's right? Yeah. And the people seem to nod in agreement. The lead, well, be quiet, Dice. I am playing Pathfinder. The lead humanoid who is in opposition here, yeah, sure, we can use one of these. Appearing not unlike the mayor, except a pair of cat ears, just boop off the top, and a little fuzzy tail as well. She, with a spear not unlike your own, except perhaps a little more like finely put together. Just, no, that's not true. We have been dragon hunting for years, and we know the lair of a black dragon when we see it. Your mayor is not a human. Your mayor is not a human. I didn't trip over that at all. You people know. Disperse and let us handle it now. That is nonsense. Me, I've been a human my whole life. All 45 years. I was freely elected the mayor of this town. And I'm sure all these people are more than happy to back me up. Yes, right, everyone. And there's just kind of a general, like, noise of approval.
I am a little bit confused at what's going on. It's like, so are you accusing the mayor of being a dragon?
They see you. And yes, that's exactly right, sir. He's not what he appears to be. It's not uncommon these days for creatures like that to lord over. And she kind of, like, she doesn't say the people here, but she looks at their direction because knowing if she were to say something bad about them, like she could spark a riot really fast, as the town is basically on the mayor's side. It's not the worst place in the world for them to hide, you know? You can't necessarily go a terrorizing these days. Rather, you just integrate, dominate, make a horde out of people and the things they can produce. This town, this paradise of yours, makes more gil in a month on lumber than anywhere else. Yet, what have they to show for it? Where's all of that money doesn't really leave here? What do you have to say about that, Mayor Lewis? And he turns and, well, what I'd have to say about that is you're completely wrong. And my friends here, they all know me. They work, they're paid a fair wage. In return, they help grow the town. My horde, preposterous. I think it's about time you all left. Paradise has no room for people like you. One of the, in the back of them, there's a little, teeny tiny little, oh, you're not, it kind of looks like it's a plant, really. As if, like, an onion had been, like, sprouted to life. It truly has a little, like, boop, leaf off top of it. It's big old wide eyes on a black face. It's kind of adorable, truly. It has a looks like a, well, we'll say he has a bow, and he pulls it back. We're not going anywhere, dragon. We've tracked you for too long. And he fires the arrow at the mayor, and the arrow just kind of shatters when it hits the mayor, and the mayor blinks. Well, we can't have that, can we?
I kind of blink. I'm like, is he wearing like any kind of armor or any kind?
No, he's wearing just like nice clothing.
That's no. Okay.
Well, everyone, it seems like they're not going to listen to reason, are they? And at this point, they've basically got their hands on whatever it is they could get their hands on to function as any kind of weapon, that being like older individuals with canes. Some people are pulling mailboxes like forcefully out the ground at which to swing them, and just, all right, everyone, if they won't leave, we'll show them the door. Kill them all. And the townspeople surge forward. It's pretty hard for Paralix to like keep his footing as suddenly like the circle pit breaks out, basically. Spells begin flying. Chaos erupts.
Oh boy. I am going to, I suppose, call my brother to my side, and there's a big crowd here now, right? Isn't there?
Yeah, there's like the whole population of the town, probably thousands of people.
I look over to the mayor and I say, "Paradise, huh? Maybe we were reaching too far with that. A little bit, maybe."
I don't agree, replies the mayor in Draconic. And he almost looks like just to roll his shoulders, but as he does so, a pair of black wings sprout. Unlike yours, when your polymorph happens, his wings have, in place of like the bat-like membranes one would expect on a dragon's wings, his wings are feathered with like glorious bright silver feathers. As his neck elongates, his eyes appear, and his eyes are like the color of the morning sky blue. They are beautiful to gaze upon as the dark scales begin to like form along his body. I'm sorry we had to meet this way, but you have a problem. I have a problem. Again, still in Draconic.
Mm-hmm.
You can help your fellow citizens kill the interlopers, or you can. And he like begins to draw in air to expel shadow.
Well, I am very taken aback as I did not know there was a dragon within 7 miles of here. And usually I can sense that really well. So
Can,
I'm very
as he forms in, you can feel it.
yeah. So I am very curious about that. As I take in a very big breath of air, I'm going to transform into my dragon form and let loose a burst of my air, my wind breath weapon.
Okay. And one collides into the other, basically. There's. I almost imagine like the Harry Potter versus Voldemort. Oh, I'm sorry, I said the name. My bad, y'all. Pushing back and forth as the wind hits the shadow, and the shadow like goes around the wind, and the wind starts to push. And as this is going on, the individuals who have clearly come at dragon hunting they've been beaten, bruised, and bludgeoned, tied hand and foot, and are being lifted to be tied on like a gigantic pole, basically, as if not on like a spit, to be tied like that. As the townspeople begin to carry them forward, the two Hypello aren't really much capable of doing any fighting or tying, so they just kind of carry the poles like, yes, you have offended Jameer, and now you will die. Yes, brother, they will die. Yes. As the much eventually, well, no, you guys probably end up roughly-ish in the same size. Perhaps he's a little bigger. Breath weapon begins to like overcome you and like get around your breath weapon to hit you. Time seems to stop. And as that happens, a sort of like as if a spotlight were turned on Paralix, shining down, or as if like the sun had just broke through the clouds and a sunbeam hits you. Down comes, it's easily the biggest dragon you've ever seen in your life. That said, it's lacking the, like, a lot of features that we would, like, oh, that's a dragon, especially you. Like, it's mostly just tail, and then that tail culminates in a head. The wings are more than long enough to support it, and it has a pair of legs as well as, like, a couple of like little fingers coming off from its wings, not as if to grasp really much of anything, but appears to be more like a very, very, very large wyvern. However, his scales are the same color as the Dawnfather. Circling, he lands behind you. Somehow, his form does not disrupt the houses.
What is going on?
He is too powerful for you, my child.
He? Who is too powerful for what?
We don't want to see you go just yet. No, no, no. We must take you far from here, far from his sight. The creatures on the floating islands, they ask no questions. They pay handsomely for new bodies such as yourselves. I am sure they will not ask too many questions. Unless you would rather die, Paralix.
I suppose that would be a preferable to death, yes. By the way, who am I speaking to?
You need not worry about my name, child. Just suffice it to know that I am a friend. And he leans his head like down, serpentining forward in such a way that you would like Falcor behind him, for lack of a better way to say it. We should leave, though. And you too, little one. You have a lot of growing to do.
One day I will be a giant. And I will come back to the city and lay waste to it. Yes.
Yes, I'm sure you will, brother.
Then it will be my paradise.
We agree to your proposal.
And as you climb on back of this thing, it takes off, and it gets well above paradise, which now you can see, like, in broad daylight over top of, is very, very ordered and beautiful, and what you would expect to be like that perfect idyllic setting, yet the smell of burning flesh maybe doesn't necessarily waft up to you as high up in the air as you are, but you can see the fire as the individuals who thought they would come dragon hunting have met their end. Now, we can't necessarily have the dragon take you where you're going. There's not quite as much going on for you. No airship for you. But as you get there, the dragon reaches out its claw and it tags Paralix on the snout. As it does so in a star pattern betwixt his eyes, his scales turn golden. Now, tell me about Paralix. What does he do in combat? I'm not super sure.
Well, he's a dragoon, so he is melee fighter. I wasn't going to make him primarily spellcasting, but he more collects spells as a hobby than using them in combat, but they're still useful in combat. I think he was primarily going to be a melee fighter as a dragon.
That makes sense. Okay. And Paralix just exists, I know eventually the archetype gives you a super big dragon, right?
Yeah, but he never gets bigger than my other form. So, I think 15th level, he finally gets to large, which by then it'll be the same size as me. Other than that, I could ride him in my Al Ra form at that point, but I'll be able to transform for 15 hours. So
why would you? Yeah.
Yeah. So for the most part, I am his mount.
Fair enough. Does he have a breath weapon right now?
He does, and that's probably the most he's going to do in combat. If I need an extra breath weapon, he has an earth breath weapon, since he's more of the earth eater than I am. I'm a wind.
That makes sense. How often can he use it?
Once a day, me. Right now, once a day, and
makes sense.
Wait, is it right? Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So it's somewhere on my character sheet here.
Makes sense. So operating on the notion that it's once a day, we'll say that the blessing that this much more powerful and clearly some kind of divine dragon imparts upon old Paralix gives him the ability to, at the beginning of the day, roll a d4, and that's how many times per day you can use your breath weapon. Rolling a d4 after each use should end up being more than one. And that is how you...
Fancy.
That's how you introduce dragons to a modern setting, I should say. And that's what we're going to call it for tonight. Thank you guys for watching on Twitch and YouTube and stuff. We have one more boy, and then we'll get down to how all 7 of these people are going to meet together and be friends and stuff. And don't miss it, because it's going to be sweet. Be sure to like and subscribe and ding the bell for all of that sweet content. And I'm really happy to find someone who can roleplay as well as that out of basically the blue. My favorite part about having a giveaway is I get to meet people who I've never gamed with. And it's always a little different. And I'm always a little more impressed every time.
Thanks.
Good. It is good. Say bye, man.
Oh, you have a good night.